Yes, I said in 1945, the City Council of Pretoria purchased a farm called Vlakfontein with the intention of settling the blacks around Pretoria, that is Lady Selborne, Maravastad, Yesterus, Riverside, Storon, Eastwood.
Yeah.
At the same time, the City Council established an industrial school in the present day Section N of Mamelodi. Now the school, that center industrial school, trained boys from all over South Africa, black youth, in plumbing, leatherwork, motor mechanics, bricklaying, and carpentry. And these students were accommodated in dormitories, well-built dormitories, but they were provided with a hall where they could entertain themselves. And that hall was used even for games like boxing and indoor games. Then at the same time, the only primary school that existed in Mamelodi was what they called Vlakfontein Public School under Mr. Makunyani. He was the principal of that school for a long time. And it was badly supplied with furniture, and even the buildings were dilapidated, corrugated iron.
So who built the school? It was Mr. Makunyane himself?
I think it was the community around that area, the squatters on the farms.
Okay.
The parents who could afford it sent their children to Kilnerton and Easterus. Because those who could not afford transport expenses, they had to send them to Vlakfontein Primary School. Even the normal college students did their practical teaching at that school. I was one of those who did practical teaching at Vlakfontein Public School.
Where was this school built?
In the present day Section B in Mamelodi.
That's A1.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where the school was. And in 1954, the government thought of putting up a proper school in Section M, D1. The school was named Vlakfontein Mamelodi Model School, but later the name changed to Mamelodi. It catered for the Tswana and Pedi-speaking children. It was well built. To us who didn't know better, it was a real model school.
It was a primary school?
It was a primary school.
Okay, going up to
standard 6.
Standard 6, okay.
Yes. And the principal there was, the first principal was a lady called Mrs. Lewoa, but he didn't stay long there. And then in 1955, a secondary school was registered for Mamelodi under Mr. Mutsepe, Carpet Mutsepe. It was accommodated in the same building as Mamelodi Primary School. Then Mamelodi was very fortunate, Vlakfontein was very fortunate when it came to administrative education. We had a white inspector, Mr. J.J. Dijaka, a man who could speak Zulu like a Zulu. He had some good foresight for Mamelodi. He knew the location was going to grow very big. So he planned for the erection of many schools in Mamelodi, primary schools. That's when they built, almost at the same time, Umtombo, Vulamehlo, Ntshapotloku, which later became FF Ribeiro, and Moretele, and then Shirinda. Those were the first schools built.
And the structure was the same.
Same
This
structure.
one long building with the office in the middle.
In the middle, yes. And Desire had some good foresight. He realized that the schools were going to be divided into higher and primary. So he recruited ladies with kindergarten qualifications to run the lower primary school sections. People like Mrs. Kapola, Mrs. Sekati, Mrs. Koza, and when those schools started functioning, they found people ready to run them. And another fortunate thing that we had in Vlakfontein, the Bantu Education Act of 1953 made provision for the establishment of school boards to run black education in their localities. Then what was surprising that there were no academic qualifications required from anybody who wanted to serve on the school board. Now in Mamelodi, our first chairman of the Vlakfontein School Board could hardly read and write. But fortunately for us, he was aware of his limitations. Mr. Jafta Matlambu. He associated with enlightened people who guided him in his work. And we had a competent school board secretary, Sai Kutumela, who gained a lot of administrative experience when he was a clerk at the Pretoria East Circuit Office, Inspector Circuit Office. And things went very well. In other areas, school boards made the lives of teachers hell, whereas in Mamelodi we were very fortunate. No teacher was victimized by the school board. And that is why we were able to develop many activities in the schools without interference from the parents. Our school board realized that the teachers who were handling their children were qualified to do the job. They realized they cannot interfere with the professional work of the teachers. So Mamelodi was very fortunate in that line.
Now, but what about the teachers at this primary schools? Because you talked about the ladies with kindergarten training qualifications, yes, who actually started the schools.
Yes.
But I would expect that possibly, I started school in 1958, and the school, there were lady teachers there. I'm not sure what their qualifications were.
All right, those had ordinary qualifications, but the very teachers I mentioned, the Mrs. Kapolas and Zakatis, had PH qualifications. They had a teacher's certificate, but went for a special training for to handle the kindergarten groups.
Okay.
That is why the Jagar felt that they would be the most suitable to be principals of the lower primary schools.
Yes.
Now, lower primary schools handle classes from grade 1 to grade 4. Sub 8 to standard 2.
Yes.
So the other teachers on the staff had ordinary qualifications, lower primary teachers course and higher primary teachers course. They were qualified for the job then, but for administration, Mr. Dijagar felt that people who will understand what today we can call
early childhood
were more suitable for running the lower primary schools. And we didn't have a single school run by a lower primary school run by a man. And the higher primary sections were all run by male principals.
I remember that because when I went to Mtombo for standard 3, the principal was Mr. Maimani.
Mr. Mayman.
Yes.
Yes, who had moved from Paleboheng to Umtombo. And as I said, our school board was very understanding. Mr. Mayman was a Tswana,
Yes.
but he
yes.
ran a Zulu school.
Yeah.
And the parents didn't worry about him being a non-Zulu. They were just satisfied with the work that he was producing.
Yes, but he spoke isiZulu well.
Yes.
Even though you could hear that he's not actually Zulu speaking, but he could communicate in isiZulu.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now Vlakfontein, this Mamelodi Vlakfontein Model School, Mamelodi, accommodated the newly registered secondary school, and Dr. Verwoerd was Minister of Bantu Affairs or Bantu Administration, decreed that no tertiary institutions for blacks should be opened in white areas. Now, the building that was erected in Section P to accommodate the Bantu Normal College students was converted into a school. The dormitories that were to be used by the students of the normal college were now converted into classrooms. That is the building that accommodated the newly established secondary school, Mamelodi Secondary School, under Mr. Kamutsepe. So when they finished converting those dormitories into classrooms, the school moved into those converted classrooms. And up to this day, that site is still occupied by Mamelodi High School. There are improvements made, additional buildings put up there. You no longer recognize the old buildings, shaded off by the new structures there. Now Mamelodi became the first secondary school in Mamelodi, which today I think is about 14 secondary schools, if not more. So it was the father of all the primary secondary schools in Mamelodi.
Yes.